welcome to In Conversation with Hemali. Coming back on my channel after almost about a month and a half, and I'm feeling wonderful and rejuvenated and very happy to bring forward my new guest. Be the change is what we hear and read all the time, but what does it really mean? How many of us have really looked back and even given it a thought? Well, with me is Odette Katrak from the beautiful Bengaluru city, an environment sustainability change maker working for a cleaner city, prouder nation, and a greener planet through beautiful Bharat, a citizen volunteer group she co-founded, earlier known as Beautiful Bengaluru. Her current priority is one of the most challenging one, to stop India spitting. She has been a crusader in the fight against spitting in public places and in championing this nationwide movement. For her efforts, she has been recognized by NDTV as a COVID warrior in 2021 Republic Day series through the program Banega Swasth India, the Corona Warriors. She also recently received the Samvahana Award by Public Relations Council of India for communication for a better world in connection with her impactful strategies of driving habit change on the ground. She has a professional experience of over 30 years, including as a soft skill trainer and consultant working on behavior change. For the last decade, she has dedicated her time to working on environment and social causes. She is also a writer, and through her articles in leading Indian newspapers like the Times of India, she pushes for active involvement of every resident to make the change. She describes all these as little steps towards a perfect world. Welcome, Odette, and thank you so much for joining me here.
Thank you, Hemali. Thank you so much. It's my privilege to be on your show.
Thank you.
So tell me, where would you like me to start?
Yeah, a very cliche question I'm going to begin with, but please tell us, how did the Stop India Spitting movement begin?
So in the strangest of ways, it was March 16th, 2 years ago, exactly 2020, because that's when COVID advisories first began in India. I know you're in Singapore, and I think you all started that a little earlier than we did. But it was March when we were hearing a lot about, at that time, it was all about clean hands, sanitize your hands. And for the first time in most people's lives, we were being told that you have to rinse for 20 seconds in order to get off the germs. I mean, you have people who don't rinse at all before that. So here was I rinsing my hands excessively, exactly in the room right next to where I am. And this looks out, I don't know if you can see, on a street which has a dead end, which leads to, you know, the lower income group, slum as we call it. And I was washing my hands, looking out. At the same time, I saw someone spitting. And it hit me that, oh my gosh, here we are taking all these precautions of masks and 6-foot distancing and keeping our hands sanitized.
Yeah.
But what about spitting in public places? How come no one is doing anything? The truth is, in India, it is a habit which has been tolerated over generations, and the only sensible way to handle it for most people who don't spit, can you guess? Tune it out. Tune it out. If you're walking on a street, you don't want to hear it, right? You're going to hear it maybe 10 times if you're walking 10 minutes. So the average, what we thought at the time was a sensible thing to do was tune it out. I use the analogy of, you know, thunder and lightning. So first you see the lightning and the thunder comes later.
Yes.
In this case, the sound comes first. So if those of your viewers who've seen My Name is Khan, and he talks about from the epiglottis to pronounce the kh, which most of the people in South can't do properly.
Okay.
I take that phrase from the epiglottis out of context to describe the awful sound in a throat that warns you that the person is about to spit, you know, clearing the throat, getting the stuff to the top. And to most people, that is, what should I say, a warning, hey, tune it out, it's going to happen. And if you want to coexist successfully and just, you know, keep cool and carry on, as they say, that's what most people learn to do. But believe me, that is the reason why the problem has got to such a proportion in our country. So the point is, we all tune it out. And that day, while washing my hands, is when I registered. And I have an earlier tryst with this problem, a very personal experience with exactly, it was 2009. My daughter, as a young teenager, was bouncing her ball. It was dusk. We were in Gurgaon in the apartment, and it touched on a blob of someone's spit. I'm sorry to describe this very gross experience. It came on her hand, it freaked her out. And for me, it was a turning point in the way I dealt with a spitter on the street. No longer after that day could I tune it out. I would give them a piece of my mind. In those early years, that's the only way I knew. I would scream at them and shout at them. And a little later, I will tell you how my own way of dealing with the situation has evolved to a stage where I can actually convince the person and make a difference. Because shouting and screaming is not going to help. And I hope people listening in can also figure out, hey, there's something in this for me. When I pass a spitter, do I tune it out? I'm very sure we did a survey, and I think majority say yes. That was before COVID. But after COVID, I have 93% of people saying, no, I will not tune it out, which means this was the perfect opportunity to launch a movement against spitting in India. Right. Because before that, if you try to tell someone on the street, don't spit, which I have done, as I told you, since 2009, they would look at you and say, are you mad or what? You're telling me not to spit.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But here was this pandemic, which had the whole world come to a standstill.
Yes.
Every individual in every corner of our country, let alone the world, I'm talking of in India, no matter how uneducated they are, they knew about COVID.
Yes.
And it suddenly seemed so simple that if we can just get them to understand the link with COVID, which, let me tell you an eye-opening fact, many of those who spit do not realize the link with COVID. I will tell you why. I see them wearing their mask. Why are they wearing the mask? They don't want to get COVID, or they know they have to wear it. They lift it, spit, and put it back. Ooh. Now that is so simply telling us that they don't understand saliva and COVID are linked. And if we can just get them to get this link, aren't we already doing the first step of educating them? Now, one point I want to say very strongly, in India, we have people who spit across income groups, right? It is not a habit only of the lower income groups, but I will say it is largely more the lower income groups because they are uneducated. They don't know it spreads disease. They were never taught it's not okay to spit. They grew up seeing people all around them spit, and they keep spitting, right? The upper income groups, you have people who spit and they do it, they know, but they still do it. It's a very small percentage. So the campaign aims at the low-hanging fruit of how do we get people to realize that spitting spreads COVID and spitting must stop.
Odette, why did spitting in public matter so much to you? I mean, you did tell me that when your daughter picked up the ball and the spit in her hand and your hands and how you felt about it. But was that the only reason?
So 10 years before that ball incident, I have a confession to make. I was walking, that child was then 3 years old as against the 13 years old. I was walking with her on a railway platform and somebody spat, it fell on her hand.
Oh.
And my responses were two. I shouted at the person, I wiped her hand, and what did I do next? I'm ashamed to confess, like everybody else, I forgot all about it. Yeah. And I realized, see, my work over the 30 plus years has been around behavior change. And in the last 10 years, as you said, my interventions, I have got pulled more to the the social change, impacting social change and interventions around litter, sanitation, traffic discipline, and I've had success in mass interventions, right?
Sure.
And it is when it realized that with my understanding of what makes for these change interventions, there are a lot of people doing a lot of work around a lot of things. But in India, we don't hear much noise about spitting in public places.
Absolutely.
So I was personally connected with the problem when, as I told you, my daughter had that brush. And I keep telling people, don't wait to have your personal tryst with something as disgusting, distasteful, and today as dangerous as spitting. Somehow all those words are with D. But start doing preemptive work today, because we need, this is the time. For India, it's now or never. If we don't do anything about it now, there is no chance that in the future we can ease out this habit. And Hemali, you'll be interested to know, countries like the US, the UK, in the early 1900s, they had, in 1918, there was a Spanish influenza, then there was TB, and they launched mass awareness campaigns. Before that, spitting in public places happened even in those countries. I imagine even in Singapore, in fact, the Eastern countries spit a lot more. And the reason in a country like Singapore is all of this is much less is, I think, there's stringent enforcement. Now you look at a country like India, 1.3 billion people. I'm very sure that enforcement cannot be the only way.
True.
For any intervention to be successful, all the stakeholders need to be involved, right? So in this case, who are the stakeholders? It is the municipality who, is supposed to keep the streets clean. Therefore, they are also supposed to enforce if there's a violation. It is all the people themselves involved who spit. And who is the biggest stakeholder on our streets? It is the passerby, the bystander, who doesn't do anything, right? So I am very convinced that if we have to have any change in this, and that is where I jumped in, because my background of behavior change tells me that till the person on the street who doesn't spit stops ignoring and starts telling the person who spits that they need to stop, nothing's going to change. But let me get back to how I got personally involved. It was March, as I told you, March 16th, while washing my hands. The very same day I talked about it on our beautiful Bharat, we were then known as beautiful Bengaluru, WhatsApp group, saying, hey, this is what happened to me today. And why hasn't anyone talked about spitting in public places till now? Isn't it a big gap in our COVID preventive measures? And we had a unanimous, yes, we must do something. The same day we launched a petition to our Prime Minister saying restrict coronavirus, make spitting punishable. It went viral because this was a trending topic with everyone who didn't spit, saying, hey, oh my gosh, how is the government not doing anything? It went viral. We crossed 41,000 signatures within 2.5 weeks. Really? And as luck would have it, we had a contact of a contact, and we were sure our petition reached the Prime Minister, as well as the Prime Minister's office, and the open letter, which we said, asking him to speak. He has a regular show called Man Ki Baat. Which not just on TV, it reaches radio shows in remote parts of the country. And every corner of the country it's listened to. So our petition, our open letter asked, one was make spitting punishable. Two was that he should speak about it in Man Ki Baat. They both happened on April 15th and April 26th. And we were delighted because it was a big first step. Spitting becoming punishable came out in all the news media. In fact, I had a gardener in my apartment who was spitting, and I heard the security guard telling him, don't you know you'll have to now pay 1,000 rupees fine? Why are you spitting?
So the message is already kind of started to get across.
It started going, and that was a good start. What unfortunately hasn't followed through is consistent messaging, consistent enforcement. In Karnataka, in Bangalore, where we are, I work closely with our administration. So, we have army cadets who are loaned to our municipality wearing army uniforms. They are tasked with the enforcement for people who don't wear masks, the COVID preventive behavior, appropriate behavior. So they are enforcing it in Bangalore. And in Bangalore, therefore, there is a lot more, awareness that spitting is punishable. It is not happening in other parts of the country. So rather than give up, what I have done, I continue to hope that the governments will, work with us. But I have created a blueprint through the team at Beautiful Bengaluru. We have no funds, we have no employees, but with help from family and friends, we now have 30 videos in different regional languages We have about 80 posters. And these are now forming, our government uses the term IEC, Information, Education, and Communication. This is fantastic IEC material. We have created with no resource base, but it's like pulling a rabbit out of a hat. We've done magic, a miracle which we brought out. And the other part of my strategy is connecting with anyone in any part of the country who is interested and able to support this initiative. And as I told you, my target audience is not only those who spit. We are interacting through NGOs. Most of the NGOs work with marginalized communities and are very much involved in helping them through this pandemic, whether it is financially or with COVID appropriate behavior or COVID centers. And through them, we are able to percolate.
So
I'm on.
Sorry, go ahead. No, I'm just thinking that, if you do not have any help in terms of monetary funds, how do you manage? How do you cope up with the whole thing? And what are the other ways that you reach out to the audience? I mean,
Yes. So the audience is two. Those who don't spit, they don't even know it's not okay to spit. They don't know spitting spreads corona. So my first task was create visuals which tell any person who doesn't know it that spitting spreads corona and spitting must stop. So I can now say in 14 different languages, spitting spreads corona, keep the virus away, no spitting, please.
Wow.
And I have converted it into a table. And one of our campaign partners in Kerala, they are wise women, Trivandrum Angels, they have a young group of children. They took each of these 14 and young children, each of them dressed in regional costumes, created a video about this. So we're teaching people in different languages how to explain to someone politely not to spit. Right. The second part of the thing is we need messaging, we need signs. So again, this we have in 14 different languages.
Okay.
So anyone can download these, put them at the entrance to your building so that anyone entering the building sees this, and we are recalibrating for the country. Hey, spitting in public is no longer. And through this, we are getting a lot of, let's say, awareness coming. And who are helping us with these, putting up these signs? We have school students, so the partners are not just NGOs, we have schools and colleges, community groups, civic groups. We have clubs like Rotary across the country. Rotary is very involved with disease prevention, and this directly, who are all working together saying, tell me what to do. And the blueprint has been evolved in terms of first explain to those who don't spit, why they should stop spitting. I'll give you another beautiful analogy, which I use to explain to people who are less educated and find this difficult to understand. When you tell them, you're wearing a mask, why are you spitting? They don't get it. So I use the analogy of a room with 4 windows, and we want to keep mosquitoes out. You're closing 3 windows, but the 4th window is open. Won't the mosquitoes come in? They all say yes. So I say, yeah. So you're wearing a mask, you're washing your hands, you're keeping a 6-foot distancing, but you lift the mask and spit. How will COVID not spread? They get it. So I created a script of 25 lines around this scenario. And I was thinking now, as you asked me the question, how do you put out resources? Who's going to help me? So I'm the online beggar, like you have beggars at the street corner in India with the bowl, some corners. I am the online beggar who feels no shame in saying, I need help on A, B, C all the time on different groups. And someone connected with me from my school or my children's school in Gurgaon, that's from 6 years earlier, who came to know about this and said, look, my daughter who's in 11th standard wants to help. And do you think, is there anything that she can do? And I said, look, I have this script. Is she able to help do a video? And this young girl, 11th standard, she created a really sweet little video around this animated video. And with help from family and friends, I have got it translated in 9-10 different languages. So her name is Ahana in Gurgaon, and another volunteer here, Nagesh, from Bangalore. Between the two of them, we have managed to get, I got friends to do voiceovers. So we have this now. So I'm saying, instead of sitting back and saying no funds, nothing, we are making magic happen even without.
So that means, I want to re-quote what you just said, that there was a student who could help you in this movement. That means age is not a bar. Anybody and everybody can help
absolutely.
you in this.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You're saying age is not a bar. Do you know who's my youngest helper? On Children's Day, we took out a small campaign saying, children, give us a 1-minute video saying why you feel spitting should stop.
Okay.
So there was this 6-year-old boy who sent us this absolutely adorable video. It was just so amazing. And it went viral in one week. We got over 1 lakh, and it touched 1,10,000 accounts almost.
Fantastic.
1,10,000 people more got the subject of spitting on their radar. Yes. So people keep telling me, you know, Odette, I had never thought about this subject of spitting. Now that I know about your campaign, wherever I go, I'm seeing people spitting and I'm telling them. So one of the videos I did, I've been picking out songs I like. So Imagine of Beatles or Come Together of Beatles. Yeah. And I looked for friends and friends of friends. And I was able to pull in professional singers to actually convert this into a really good quality video. And we got a professional, for Come Together, a professional film producer who helped us with the video. He did his own way. And he went on our biggest channel, one of the big channels, India Today, to say that, you know, till Odette talked to me about spitting, I had never thought about it.
Absolutely.
Now, after doing this video, wherever I go, I'm seeing people spitting, and I tell them. So to me, that is the impact of pulling in the bystander, who earlier tuned it out, to start getting engaged. And that's the change happening on the ground.
Yeah, if I'm not wrong, you also had some actor, a star who had also, right?
Yes.
Could you tell us about that?
Yes. So one of the, as I said, it's a behavior change intervention where you're trying to get the people who are offenders. I don't like the word offenders because we can't blame them. They were never taught, which means we have to first teach them. So how do we teach them? Who will they listen to? Celebrity influencers. So one of our the biggest Kannada actor, Puneet Rajkumar, we had approached him in June 2020. He gave us a brilliant video. Very tragically, he passed away of a heart attack at 46 last year in November 2021.
That was a big,
you might have heard about
he was
that.
in the gym, and yes, we'd heard about
Yes. So that was a huge shock to Karnataka, and I'm guessing large parts of India. And you will not believe his video, his words. It is tragic how after he's gone, I have a lump in my throat as I say this. His words are even more precious and they are creating even more impact on the ground. Let me tell you how. I was walking the other day and we have our gas coming in cylinders. So the boy with the delivery he had 20 cylinders. He was waiting for his tempo. He was sitting on a cylinder and for time pass, one of the biggest reasons is turn your head, turn your head and spit. He kept spitting. So as I passed by, he was chewing some leaf. There were orange streaks on the ground next to him. See, I have learned to speak about it completely dissociating, and I no longer feel disgusted about it. So this gas, now I have one more level where it's Kannada. I was passing by, I saw him. I just said, Yen pa, meaning, kya bhai, what is this? I said, Roko, dekhna. And I put on Puneet Rajkumar's video. I showed it to him. The minute he saw Puneet Rajkumar's face, I had no job to do but to hold the phone. It's about a 1.5 minute video. His jaw dropped open. He was wearing his mask, but I could tell he was mesmerized. And Puneet Rajkumar today is a god for people on the street. Right? He had that kind of clout when he was alive, but he's worshipped now that he's no more. And he said, sorry, ma. He did that. And that's literally the reaction which we are getting. So I didn't stop there. I told him his name is Suresh. I said, Suresh, will you give me a video? He gave me a video in Kannada saying I was spitting. Madam showed me this video. Now I understand why. He took his phone number, gave me his phone number. I sent him the video. He said, I will send it to all my friends. So in ways like this, So the strategy is to pull in influencers, to pull in people like us who have maids and drivers who don't know and they spit, to explain to them preemptively, but also on the street. And as I said, it is not linked to low income groups alone. Any people we know who are spitting, and the message is not just don't spit. The
Yeah.
message is a second part of it. If you see our posters,
Yeah.
it says no spitting, please ask others to stop too.
Hmm.
And my campaign name, Hemali, is deliberately called Stop India Spitting. Somebody told me in the beginning, no, it should be Stop Spitting India. I said,
I was going to ask
yeah,
that really.
yes.
Yes.
Stop Spitting India. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to that part of India who spits. And what do the rest do? They tune out. It's not my problem. I don't spit. And it's no wonder that the problem goes from bad to worse, right? It's public apathy. That's a problem which nobody does anything about. One of the strategies is webinars all the time for different groups, besides the kind of, the interviews I'm doing for media. We have probably 80 plus media mentions. And every time spitting comes in the headlines, to me, it is cause to rejoice, because we have managed to bring a forgotten subject, much neglected subject, into the headlines and to people's radar, so that Come Together video, or they imagine all of these videos, every time they come out, they get media attention. So the film producer and the singer for Come Together were interviewed on India Today, and that got again over 1 lakh views. So every time something we put out, we have an animal, a video where animals are acting.
Oh,
I approached a lady in Chennai who I was told dances, saying, I would like you to do a dance for me, because I want to use unconventional means of pulling the subject on radar of people who have learned to tune out the subject, right? See, our mouth cancer ads for tobacco are ghastly images of, cancer ulcers on TV.
Yeah.
They will definitely have an impact with the person who chews tobacco.
Yeah.
But to the rest of the people, it's a put off, right? So I said, I don't want to put off people from this subject, because they are my change makers on the ground. How do I get them interested? So I've been pulling in a lot of humor. We have a lot of cartoons. One of our teammates, Suresh, he's brilliant. He's a very senior person and with a very busy schedule. But I keep giving him ideas, and he does brilliant cartoons out of it. And he's done one which I'll share with you, which is about bystander apathy. On the left side, you have everyone who's turning their face away. You know how studiously they turn their head away, they look into their phone, or they just tune it out. And on the right side, you have everyone saying, hey, don't spit.
Wow.
It could be aggressively, it could be angrily. So there are different ways to do. You can do this. You can do a lot of ways. But the best way I tell people today is just do this and with this. Just with these two gestures, you can explain. So all these offbeat ways, Hemali, are getting attention of people. So when I say Stop India Spitting, it means whether or not you spit, it's a call to action. Come, let us stop the habit of spitting in our country.
Absolutely.
And we make our country proud. I think that's the platform that we're coming from.
That's a great message that you leave behind for the audience. And
to all the youngsters, please become ambassadors for Stop India Spitting. If you can follow us on our social media, Instagram is just Beautiful Bengaluru. We still continue with the old name, though we are now Beautiful Bharat. You will find lots of lovely, reels and videos and posters. Please keep helping percolate them back in with family and friends in India. If anyone says, hey, I'm so happy someone is doing something about it, networking is so critical to us. Ask them to connect us. Simplest way, stopindiaspitting@gmail.com. So we need people to put signs. We need people to have conversations. We need people to look at our resources and share them, because there's some amazing stuff. And the fourth one is networking. Anyone who thinks this is a good idea, whether they're in a school or a college or corporate or whatever. We have this ad agency in Mumbai called 21N78 Creative Labs. They created on August 15th a campaign for us called Spit Kills. We released it as part of the Freedom from Spitting series in 10 different languages. Amazing creatives. What would have cost a few lakhs? They did it pro bono for Stop India Spitting because it's a social cause.
Well, now that happens only because they believe in what you do, because you have shown what you speak. You've done it. I mean,
And now we need to reach those creatives to different cities.
Yeah.
So anyone who can help us either, through CSR funding or getting it out through government messaging, please connect with us. So the kind of help we need is whichever field you are in, whichever city you are in, you can still be a resource and a great support to Stop India Spitting, if only to just connect, get on our WhatsApp group, keep sharing out our videos and posters. And the simple message of Stop India Spitting, which is spitting spreads COVID, no spitting, please ask others to stop. Once COVID is done, we shift to TB, which is also a big problem in India, also spread by spitting, which is still in the disease spread angle. And then we move to cleaner public spaces. We have the annual Swachh Sarvekshan exercise where cities are ranked. And spitting also is a factor that brings down the ranking. And we want everyone to be proud of their city's ranking, which means spitting has to stop. And as we ease out this habit for the country, we can all be proud Indians. I'm very sure that COVID can be converted into a turning point for spitting in India. And if we get everyone's attention and everyone's involvement, there will come a day when this could actually be a social change milestone for the century for India.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you, Odette, for being such an inspiration. You are the star that shines and creates illumination all around, not only in the city where you live, but all over India. For my audience, I would like to bring to your notice that her efforts have been recognized by XLRI Jamshedpur for her contributions to the society with the Distinguished Alumni Award, apart from a prior award by the Haryana government for her work in Gurgaon. Odette believes that every individual can make a difference by playing their part and lives, each day with a quest to make a deep impact through sustainable interventions, while continuing to inspire everyone around her to lead a better life that is kinder to the planet. Thank you, Odette. Keep inspiring us, and my audience, let us join hands with her and do our bit through various ways which she has mentioned while in the conversation. And I know that we all can come together, and when we all come together, it's strength. Links to the videos of Stop India Spitting will be in the description. Spread them across to as many people as you can and take that step ahead. Thank you very much, Odette, for being with us and sharing your valuable time with us.
Thank you, Hemali. It is my privilege, and together we shall stop India spitting.
We will.
And make India proud.
Absolutely. Thank you, Odette.
Thank you.